Hey everybody, and welcome to Stock Abilities. Today I'm going to be covering the Naked Brand Group and the upcoming potential merger here. And make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this, and check the playlist out for a whole bunch of other Naked Brand Group videos if you're not aware. Now, I'm just going to be going into the stock price here initially. It's been kind of a little bit all over the place, but for the most part, it's been holding fairly well in the last 5 days. There's a pretty steep dip there, but that wasn't really for too long. It only held for a little bit, and then it popped right back up, and then it kind of fluctuated, and then it popped all of a sudden on the day of the assumed merger. Now, for some reason, they did not file yet. There's no information in regards to why that is, but I'll be going over some thoughts on that in particular. The main one that I believe is the biggest one here is that they're trying to give a chance for the Australian market to kind of buy in, and the investors in that particular segment, because there's a significant volume towards the end of the day in the after hours, and of course during different parts here during the day. But that was pretty late at night, so I don't believe that would have been them. Now, there was a few short attacks attempts, and they triggered some stop losses and everything. But overall, it seemed more like accumulation and buy-ins from institutions. That could just be my theory. I don't know. We'll find out here soon enough. But so far, there has been no filings as of yet. The only news that they've released at this point was the news of the interview with the CEO, Carole Hochman. Now, Carole Hochman, of course, is the new Chief Creative Officer as of the last 3 years or so, and she talks about a little bit of her background in that. And you can read over that if you'd like, but in essence, she's just talking about a little bit of the history of her, the company, and Bendon and Naked. Now, an interesting statement coming up here that I will see if I can dig through here and find is this one right here. I went to Australia and New Zealand for a trip in December before we did the merger. Now, this is an awkward statement. I don't know if this is just misspoken or what, but that might be a strong indication that the merger is actually already going through. It doesn't say letter of intent or anything, so that seems a little bit weird, because she's referring to Bendon and the Naked brand, so that is something to keep in mind. I don't know if it was just like I said, she misspoke or something, but that is something to keep in mind. And then they go into different details here. I have done my homework, and there's a real synergy. They will get us our product out to more people. Having the money to do customer acquisition on your website is very huge. Then there's other things here. They're not really relevant to the Naked brand. That just tells you a little bit details about it, but it won't really help in regards to merger input. So we're going to kind of skip over that. So here's an interesting one. So it's safe to say that both you and your investors can be happy about the merger. And then it says Naked has a tremendous future in joining with Bendon. In addition to their products and their retail outlets, they do a great job of e-commerce. For example, they have a wonderful Fredericks of Hollywood website. They have a highly clean website. They can help tremendously in exposing the Naked brand both in e-commerce and the Naked community. For Naked, the volume will be changed and the potential will be very, very tremendous. Positioning in terms of the investors is not my expertise, but it should be a great opportunity to see this stock grow a lot faster based on the sheer volume of the business we have as a team. And that about covers everything that was mentioned in that interview. Now, that interview was released as of the 10th of April, the assumed merger date, which has not happened yet. They have not filed it. And now this is kind of an older article, but I'm going to kind of point it out here that this was way back in 2014, and a statement from Davis Rice says, our biggest growth markets are the US and Europe, and Australia and New Zealand are certainly markets where we have a solid foothold, but in order to double size of this brand, we need a lot of activity over in the US and Europe, and the Naked Brand Group is going to help them do just that. Now, if they're assuming back then to double their growth back way back in 2014, and now they have a pretty strong partner potentially to do it, their capital size may increase tremendously. Now, they're making a pretty good amount. I believe it was over 100 million each year. But after merging with the Naked Brand Group and expanding their particular brand, you should see a lot of an increase in profit margin, and of course in these stock prices, both for Bendon and a new whatever they're going to be calling that. Bendon, aka Naked brand, as you'll see here coming up. And what to look out for, of course, is you want to see if you see, I mentioned this in the overview video, but I'll mention it again. You can check out the playlist for that. What you're looking for is an 8K, or you're looking for, let's see what the other one, SC13Gs. That's institutional buy-ins, and of course, if you see Form 4s, that is insider buy-ins. So if you see insider buy-ins, or the SC13Gs for institutional buy-ins, or if you see an 8K, there is something big coming up if you see the 8K. And of course, the press releases, you can look out for this page on the Naked Brand corporate website in their investor relations. Hasn't been any updates on that. Now, this is an interesting note. I went to the Form 8K and looked it up really quick for you guys, but the companies have 4 business days to file a Form 8K for the events specified in the item section 1 through 6 and 9 above. Now, I believe that they still would have had to file the Form 8K, but it's interesting that they can delay it for this potentially long. Now, of course, the fact that the 10th was the merger date, it's kind of a little weird that they're going to delay it at this point. But it sounds like they can delay it at least publicly to shareholders for up to 4 days. Now, of course, this is just a theory of mine, but I'm kind of picking at straws because they didn't really explain in detail what exactly was the delay. And this is just a little wrap up here for the Carole Hochman design group that, of course, Carole Hochman ran herself, and that she was doing brand leadership, a team with over 30 years of experience. So she's been in this market for a very long time. I'm not really worried that this is not going to go through. It's more about the stock price and what it's going to end up being. And we're going to go over this quickly here just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And I'll link this into the below in the comments and all that kind of stuff, or in the description rather. But I think I covered most of everything here, but what seems to be put on the momentum list and driven the recent average volume of more than 100,000 shares a day in a company with fewer than 10 million shares outstanding is the idea that it was a prime acquisition target, and indeed it looks like a merger is coming to pass. So you got that, you got the other statement I linked to, let's see here. And before we did the merger, these are the 2 key statements in this article, and I'd recommend checking it out. Maybe I overlooked something, and you guys can leave that in the comments below and talk about it there. But overall, it's looking very positive. These statements are looking very interesting. The way this article is written, it sounds like the merger is already done and dealt with. I don't know if this was accidentally released a little too early or what, but that is something to keep in mind. And I went into all the other details with everything else. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I believe I covered all the recent updates. There hasn't really been anything else all that exciting. We're essentially waiting on the filings, and we're going to go from there and see what happens. Have a nice day.